Part 2.
Hi, we're back and we're going to be adding a lot of springtime colors to our Monet painting. We're going to start with our big brush, just dip it in straight into the blue, and we're going to put a few sort of dash marks into our background. So big brush, straight blue. We don't need a lot of these, just a few, and it's going to be a very bright color. A lot brighter than what we have in the sky because remember, we added white to all of those blue colors. So just a little bit here and there, not a lot. You can do a little dab to make more of a dot, or you can also do more of a very small brush stroke, which is kind of like a dash. So when we put all of these colors on that we're going to be doing, you can use a little bit of both. Just the corner of the brush to make kind of a dot, and then a little bit of a dab. So rinse your brush, and we're going to use straight red next. Remember to dry it off after you come out of the water because we don't want any of these colors dripping. So I'm getting my water out of my bristles, and I'm just going to use some straight red. Red draws the eye most out of any color, so you don't want to use a ton of red. So even less red than you just put the blue. All right, so I'm going to do red here and there. And I'm going to do a couple dots. And that's about it on my red. Okay. The first color that we're going to mix is going to be a coral. You can leave the red in your brush. Take your mixing plate. We're going to do a scoop of red. It doesn't have to be huge. We don't need a lot of this color. A scoop of yellow, so basically equal red and yellow, and then about a half a scoop of white. You can always add more white if you want to lighten your color after we mix. All right, so this has more red in it than a normal orange would have. That's why it's going to be a coral color. Now, I have a very, very dark coral, so I'm going to add another half scoop of white. This is closer to what I was hoping for. I might even add, just because I have a lot, I might add just a little bit more white. There we go. Okay, so you can see that color. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing that I just did with the blue and the red. A couple of short sort of dash marks. And then maybe some dots too, here and there. You can put a little of this color into that midsection, which we're calling the tree section. And again, you want to twist your brush so that there's some variation in where and how the brush strokes look in your tree area. Also, this coral color is really going to fill in some of the top, so you can add quite a bit of it towards the top. The painting colors are going to get lighter as we come towards the center of the painting. We're going to make a pink and then a lighter pink, and then we'll actually even add a little bit of white on top of that. These strokes can go over top of your trees, which is why we gave ourselves a little bit of time to let those trees dry, so it shouldn't be mixing with the brown. It should be going on top of the brown. And if you had any of those white spaces right around the trees, because we were painting up to the tree but not over our underpainting, this is a good color to use to fill in some of those white spaces. Okay, when you feel like you have enough coral on there, you can rinse your brush because we're gonna make pink and we don't want any of that yellow left in our bristles. So I'm gonna rinse my brush. Everyone's rinsing. All right, we're going to take 2 scoops of white and about 1 scoop of red, maybe a little less than a full scoop of red. You could go with a half scoop first. We should be getting this baby pink, this bubblegum color pink. Okay. And I'm going to put this up at the top and bring it down towards the middle. You can go over some of that coral if you want to, that's fine. Again, you can make little dash marks with your brush, or you can make larger brush strokes, very short but thicker brush strokes. And again, this color is coming towards the center, so there should be more of this towards the middle than there will be at the top. If this is mixing with some of the blue that we put on there, that's fine. It might be like a light purple color. If you like light purple and you want to add it in, that's fine too. You could always put a little bit of blue in your pink here, in just a portion of it, because we do want to actually use this pink as a base for our next color, which is going to be just to add another scoop of white to this pink. I have a lot of this pink, so I'm going to take a little bit off to the side so that I can put a big scoop of white. That way too, if I want to use this original color of pink, then I still have that original color, and then I have the lighter shade, or tint actually. When you add white to a color, it's called a tint. So I'm going to put this lighter color more towards the middle of the painting. And again, if you have any white spaces near the trees, you want to use these colors to cover that up. You will see the branches pop through. It won't be a straight line. You can come near the branches or really out towards the edges too. And you can also put a little bit of this light pink color in your green grass. You can do some little clusters of dabs if you want to make it look like little flowers. Or you can put them very randomly throughout. I'm using the edge of my brush, the corner of my brush, to make smaller dabs. Okay, and if you want to put a little of that medium pink that we made too, you could do that. Probably a little bit less because it's a darker color, but you could put some of that in as well. Okay, and if you want to even put a little bit of those colors in the base, which is known as the field. Again, I'm just using the corner of the brush and I'm kind of making little clusters of the flowers, of the color here. Okay. All right, go ahead and rinse your brush, and we're going to make another color green, and we're going to put some grasses into that middle section. Okay, so rinse your brush. This is going to be more of a Kelly green, so I am going to take a scoop of yellow and about a half scoop of blue. Okay, I mixed with my big brush, but I'm going to get all the paint off of that now, mix it up, and I'm going to actually start using my little brush. You may have already started using your little brush, and that's totally fine. This is the first time I'm going to use it, so I'm going to put it in the green, and I'm going to come into this that middle section, and I'm going to do a lot of vertical strokes all over. And you're just going to fill in with a lot of strokes for this grass. If you have any of that light green left, you can also use that. You can add a little bit of yellow or white to that to make another color green. We just want a lot of greens in here, okay? If you want to make some tufts of grass down here as well, in the bottom section, you could do that. They could kind of look like little bushes or just breaking up that other green color that we have. I'm making a lot of sort of diagonal brush strokes so that they kind of look like a little bush here and there. You can also make some that are horizontal right at the base of the trees if you want to do that. We're going to put some blue in there too, but if you just want to put some of that green color in. And if you have this dark green up here in this midsection and you just want to dip the tip of your bristles into yellow or white, you could go over them while they're still wet and just blend, and that'll make kind of a new color of green, and that'll help fill in too. So take your time. This is probably a good time to turn off the video so you can take your time to fill in this area with all these greens. Right now I'm just painting the yellow over top. Even if your darker green, that Kelly green, is dry and you put a little bit of yellow on top of it, it may not blend, but it actually will give it a different look. And again, you don't want these grasses to be sort of straight across. You want them to be random. Very light touch will give you a very thin line for the grasses. Okay, while the green is still in your brush, and again you can keep filling in this green, go ahead and dip straight into the blue, and we're going to put some blue right at the base of each of our trees. If you did put the green there, it might blend in a little bit with what you have. You can also put some blue in sort of some clusters. They may turn out looking a little bit of green since you still have that green in your brush. You can actually add them into those bushes that we had first drawn with the green. Okay, you can fill that in as much or as little as you like. I'm going to rinse my little brush, and now I'm going to use it in the white, and I'm going to add some white to the trees. I'm just going to take my palette so that I can dip straight into white. You could use your big brush for this too if you want to, but I'm just going to add some white into those trees. Some of it may blend in with that lightest pink color that we have. That's fine. You can just put some dabs in. If you want to put a little bit of white in the midsection as well, still vertical lines, you can do that. Some of it may blend with the colors you already have there. It's just to brighten up that section a little bit.
You can do it for me.
All right. I actually think I will use my big brush up at the top to put some of that white. And I actually may go back and forth between just white and light pink, because I don't want it to be too white. It still should be pretty pinky there. So I'm gonna put a little more of that light pink back on if it gets too bright. Okay, a couple more things. With your little brush, super clean because we don't want this to turn out pink, we're going to put a little bit of red in our tree trunks to give them some highlights. And you don't want this to go all the way down. You're just gonna put red on your little brush and very light touch, you can go into your tree. As you can see, it's not an outline, I'm just putting red here and there. But it looks nice with the brown color. If you want to put some in some of the branches, if you can still see the branches up here, that's great. You may have covered them and that's fine too. If you wanted to use that brown you had and put a little bit of white in it, you could do that as a highlight color too. This very, like a light brown color. You could streak that into your trees, particularly the trunks of your trees, because that's probably the main part of the tree that's still showing. Okay, so that gives our trees a little bit of dimension. And I think the last thing we're gonna do, I still have some of that coral left. If you need to mix the coral again, it was a scoop of yellow, about the same amount of red, and then a half scoop of white. You can always add white till you get there. And then I'm going to, now with my little brush, actually, I'll add some more coral on top in this midsection. And then you could use your big brush or your little brush in the top section to add that coral on top. So it's kind of that last color that we're adding back in. We may have covered some of it up. In the top section, it's more towards the top, not in the middle here. This color has white in it, so I have a big block of red here. Because this coral has white in it, I can actually go over top of some of those other colors. So if you have a big area, like there's a square block of red that doesn't have anything else over top of it, I'll just put a few dash marks of coral. If you see any open white spaces, this may be a white space. You can fill in with the coral too if it's towards the top. If you see those down towards the middle, you may want to use one of those pinks. And now I have those little strokes of coral at the top. I'm just going to add a little bit with my big brush too. And I think that's it. If there's anything else you want to add, you could always use these same colors that we've mixed and just add them here and there. But I hope that you love your new spring painting. Thanks for painting with us.